And good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. It's John here from Hot Music, and we thank you very much for joining us for the latest season 3 of the Vox Talks. And this season is focusing a lot about how our alumni have gone on to convert what they really want to do into actual careers. So today's guest is a bit of a superstar, a legend in his own lifetime of Hot House activities, and he's going to be talking a little bit about engineering and how he got there and what he's planning to do for the future. So if you're interested in engineering, developing a career in creativity and inspiration, this is one of the Vox Talks for you. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Mr. Chris Gerrett.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, hi, Chris. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic, John. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. And thanks for joining us today. Just for the viewers at home, could you tell us where you're dialing in from?
Well, I'm dialing in from hometown Derbyshire at the moment, from my parents' work study, as most of my compatriots who are still at university are probably doing.
I think that's true, actually, because, I mean, currently you're at the end, towards the end of a degree at Warwick?
I'm in my final year of a master's degree in electrical and electronic engineering.
Wow, that's very cool, mate. So, I mean, if you don't mind, we'll start off with, if you can tell the listeners or the viewers at home what who you are, what sort of things you're doing currently, that would be brilliant.
Fabulous. So I'm Chris, that you haven't already been introduced. I was a trombonist at Hot House for a very long time, going on 8 years probably. I started back in year 5, joined Hot Shots sometime in year 6. Was in big band by year 8, and that was a bit of a scary prospect. I've had the opportunity to tour America 3 times. Atlanta, New Orleans, and New York, the final one. They were all awesome. Loved music, but it wasn't necessarily my lifelong passion. So I went into engineering at university. I studied general engineering to start at the University of Warwick, and then moved on to electrical and electronic engineering sometime in my second year. And I've done internships across the board. I went to a company called Arup, and in the near future, September, I'll be moving on to a Microsoft subsidiary to do software engineering.
Wow, now that is very cool, very exciting. So, I mean, when people think about engineering, maybe mums and dads will be thinking, building bridges and things, but actually engineering encompasses so much now, doesn't it?
Oh, massive amounts. I can't think, probably about 20% of the people who I study engineering with go on to do pure engineering, like building bridges.
Yeah, and yet there are what other things are there out there apart from electrical engineering? I mean, do you get to see a bit of everything when you're doing your degree?
Yeah, for sure, certainly. Pretty much every engineering degree nowadays has some general aspect, at least at the start. They like to get everyone on the same page before they go off and specialize. So I've done a lot of mechanical engineering. I've done a lot of civil engineering. Funnily enough, I think my best mark in any module came in a civil engineering module. Just a little embarrassing. But I've done a lot of mechanical things. I've been doing autonomous drone design at the moment. It's one of my group projects. So actually building and designing a drone to go flying in the real world. Unfortunately, COVID is sitting on that one at the moment, so we haven't had the opportunity to build it yet, but it's been fun.
Yeah, and like, what made you choose Warwick, Chris? I'm interested for the mums and dads maybe who might be tuning in, why you would choose Warwick for engineering.
Well, Warwick has got a good reputation for starters. It's a pretty reasonably well thought out university. I didn't particularly want to go the Oxbridge route. I had the grades, but I preferred to have a little bit more to my academic career than necessarily just sitting there crunching numbers, and Warwick was a good balance for me. It's not that far from Derbyshire, so I was able to pop home every now and then, which is nice, get my washing done, get a bit of food, cinema with my dad, the good stuff. Even pop back for a few concerts every now and then for Hot House. But it was a good balance. I went down there, I saw the campus, which is really important, and just sometimes it clicks, and it was a fabulous place for me.
And I think that's lovely. And obviously you liked it enough to want to convert into an MA. For those people, mums and dads thinking, I might send them on a geography degree or a history degree. Is it quite easy to get to that, converting into an MA, or do you have to go through a rigorous process? How did it work for you?
It's complicated, I suppose. I started with a bachelor's in engineering, so a BEng, which is the sort of the standard route. It's difficult to get to a MEng without having done a BEng, but you can certainly do masters in engineering, but they're usually masters of science, MScs. Yeah. And I've met loads of people who've come in from maths degrees, from physics degrees, from chemistry, from humanities a few times. I've seen a few law students come in for masters in engineering. It's actually surprisingly popular. A lot of people will come and do a first year in maths or in physics and then realize just how difficult maths and physics are at university. And then they'll quickly jump back onto an engineering course. It's very common.
Right. Okay. And to be able to matriculate into a master's or to go into a master's, is that something that they talk to you about at the beginning of your course, or when you're getting towards the end? How do they, introduce that concept of doing more?
So for masters in engineering, at least, the goal that most people strive for is chartership. And to be a chartered engineer, you have to have done a bachelor's degree plus some further learning. And usually people will do a master's degree there. So it's quite highly encouraged. And the only boundary that they say that you have to pass to get onto a master's in engineering is a average 2-1 at the end of your second year.
Right. Okay.
And if you're doing that, basically they say, come join us. We want you for another year.
Oh, I think that's
cool.
And
it's fairly common.
So I'm going to have a quick chat about maybe the other things that you did at university. And apart from being into music before you went to university, you're also big into badminton. And
yes.
And, I think these things are really worth knowing for mums and dads, that actually that gives you more character, gives you reasons to be interesting to other people. It helps you get along with maybe your Chinese flatmates.
Yes.
Whilst you might do music and sport before you go, you might then go more into sport when you're at uni because it fits better with the course. Would you be able to quantify or value that kind of experience?
Oh, it's not quantifiable to value how much I've enjoyed. Certainly, at university, I've done a lot more badminton than I did previous university, unfortunately, than music. Just the timings worked better for me. I got involved with proper badminton training programs. I was training 7 till 9 in the morning, 5 days a week, evenings. I played tournaments in the UK and all that sort of stuff. I played the university national championships with the world 155 men's doubles badminton player, which was awesome. I was carried so hard in that, but it was a good laugh. So it's pretty safe to say that university is a lot more than the academics, and badminton, at least for me at uni, was awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. It's made all my friends, well, like a good 60 or 70% of my friends at uni I've met through the badminton. Probably a good 20%, 30% through engineering. It's difficult with engineering because it's so big as a topic that there are 300, 400 people in the same room as you sometimes. So to get good friends in there is often difficult to find. Not that they don't happen. I've got lots of engineering friends, certainly in the latter years when my size of my classes got a lot smaller. But badminton was where it was for me. Definitely.
Yeah, and I think that's really useful. That's worth remembering. You might go to university thinking, I love music, and music helps you get in that door. But then you might get to uni and you become the ski guy, and you're doing something else. And actually, those bits are really help you get onto internship programs because it's all about the character of the person. So I know that you've done an internship at Arup, and a few of our other Vox guests have also done this. Naomi Tanzi, Callum Ferreira, they've done things at Arup. Now, this is rather interesting for the viewers at home. I'd like your take on it, but I think we'll probably discover that, an internship can be good, even if it's not good.
Yes, certainly. So to fill everyone in, about 2018, I think I went to Arup for a summer internship. It was 10 weeks in their Nottingham office. I did building services electrics, power lines, how much power does a building need, where do you put the boxes and the wires? And I was extremely bored for 10 weeks. It was a difficult thing for me. I learned a lot from those 10 weeks. It was... Electrical engineering can be very fixed. It can be very rigid. It's when you are designing such health and safety critical services, there's a very fixed way you have to do things. If this building is this big, it needs this much power, end of, and it needs to be in this place. So a lot of what I was doing was reading from books and checking and double checking, and then just doing it. It wasn't very complicated. It was hard, but it wasn't complicated. It was not a problem that needed solving. Other people more intelligent than I had done the problem solving. Yeah. And so I got very bored. But it told me that I wanted a career in something where every day there would be a new challenge or a different way to approach the challenges. And that was massively important to me. And so despite the fact that the company themselves, Arup, were fantastic, the people I met there, wonderful, the job was not necessarily for me.
And I think that's amazing intel. So we talk about if you will never know if you don't like something unless you try it, and that can work for music as well as geography and history. You can imagine I'm going to go and play in a band and then actually I really don't like the classical bit. I'm going to try pop music or something. You won't know unless you give it a go. So actually the intel that we learn when we go and find something that we don't like, and to be fair, Arup is an amazing company, but it just meant that you wanted to do something different. And I think you've got something really good lined up for the future. Is that right?
September this year, September 2021, I'll be starting at MetaSwitch, which is a company that's a subsidiary of Microsoft. Yeah. I'll be a software engineer there for the foreseeable future. And I am actually really, really looking forward to it.
Oh man, I think that's huge. That's brilliant. And from the mums and dads or whoever's watching, it just goes to show that you've got to try things, and with the positive outlook and the skills that you learn along the way, whether it's music, sport, or art, these are all things that are designed to give you a bit of success. So just to round it off, Chris, I mean, we talked a little bit about what you did when you're with the band. Have you got any kind of favorite memory that you would like, that you feel free to share? Obviously it's the watershed, and then also maybe any life lessons that you would advise or you would pass on, because I mean we're really big into mentorship. I mean, one of mine is the first tour that we did, and you managed to spend like most of the time in the hotel bedroom watching so much
Food Network.
The Food Network. We went to America to basically just watch the Food Network for a week.
Yes. Not my proudest moment. Michael Tasker with his ice cream on the first day for breakfast. Truly awesome memories. Yes.
Legendary stuff.
Yeah. No, I've loved all the trips we did to America. There were some fantastic moments. Certainly the Food Network. I was actually a little bit disappointed in myself when I grew a little bit older that I'd gone to Atlanta, this awesome place, massive opportunities in a conference, and I'd sat in a hotel room watching TV for a week. And that, I'm very glad that when we went to New Orleans the second time, I got to actually take part in that conference again.
It was cool.
But things like New Orleans, when we used to go swimming with Sam Lolly and the guys. In fact, do you recognize this?
Oh,
yes.
Stunning.
I found this when I was walking around earlier today. We used to throw this around in the swimming pool in New Orleans under the skylights. That was awesome. Yeah. Beignets. In fact, someone for my birthday got me a painting of a photo on my Facebook page of me eating beignets at Cafe Beignet in New Orleans.
Man, that is just the best. Honestly.
Yeah, awesome.
Just the memories are great, and I know we stay in touch, and it's really good. But if you're a mum or dad, I just really want to endorse the fact that it's the other stuff that you do that makes life worth living. And
so much.
Yeah, the time in the swimming pool, throwing the ball out, which is absolute carnage. Anyway, I'd like to say thanks to Chris. It's been really lovely to have a catch up. And anybody who's out there who wants to know maybe a bit more about mengers or anything along those lines, Chris is on LinkedIn, and it's really good for your young person to develop their professional LinkedIn profile. So do drop him a line through the LinkedIn, and if there's any questions, we'll send them through to him. And otherwise, thanks for watching this episode of Vox in Series 3. We hope you've enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe and catch out some of the other ones. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. Ciao now.